and story of this ancient Sith Lord. Also, leave in the comments down below other stories of in the Star Wars universe.
Dancing in the dark, pussy in the home. Lick me, give me your camel toe. 22, 22, love you too. I just wanna love you, I just wanna love you, love you, love me, especially 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69, 69. I am so grateful and happy that I got pussy today. Thank you, God. Love you. I love you so, I love you so, I love you so, I love you so, falling, falling, Plan B, Plan B, Plan B, Plan B, Plan B, Plan B, Plan B. I'm a billionaire, child free. Woman flock to me, woman flock to me. I'm a billionaire, I am child free. Woman flock to me, woman flock to me. I'm a billionaire, I am child free. Woman flock to me, so know to be. Child free, flock to me. I'm a billionaire. Plan B, plan B, plan B, plan B, plan B, plan B, plan B. I'm a billionaire, child free. Women flock to me. Women flock to me. I'm a billionaire. I am child free. Women flock to me. Women flock to me. I'm a billionaire. I am child free. Women flock to me. So motive to be child free. Flock to me. Plan B, 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 plan B. I'm a billionaire, child free. Women flock to me. Women flock to me. I'm a billionaire. I am child free. Women flock to me. Women flock to me. I'm a billionaire. I am child free. Women flock to me. So let it be. Child free. I got ass cheeks in my face, in my face. I got ass cheeks in my face, in my face. Flew down in a jet, landed on the strip, slippery wet, went to garage. In my bed, stabbed the gas, driving real fast, police gonna pass, didn't crash, too bad, got some ass cheeks in my face, in my face. I got ass cheeks in my face, in my face. Met this girl, Cherry, with big booty, face was hairy. When I met Cherry, took her to my house, popped that cherry. My own boy, Larry, said she's a dot, don't marry. Nah, I got ass cheeks in my face, in my face. I got ass cheeks in my face, in my face. Hey, I got ass cheeks, ass cheeks, ass cheeks. I got ass cheeks in my face, ass cheeks. Whew.
Skywalker is one riddled with great tragedy. Before he was seduced by the dark side of the Force, he was considered the greatest Jedi Knight that the galaxy had ever seen, as he was exponentially more powerful than is common for a Jedi, with many believing at the end of the Clone Wars he was more powerful than Yoda himself. The tales of Anakin Skywalker over the Clone Wars especially were grand in nature. Many Jedi, as well as civilians of the galaxy, praised him for his bravery over the Clone Wars conflict, as Anakin, despite the Jedi Council's wishes, actually became the face of the Clone Wars conflict. Skywalker was a hero to nearly all over the Republic's command, that is. A lot of Jedi Knights that served with Anakin Skywalker had very little bad things to say about him, other than he could occasionally be overly arrogant. Those far away from his watch, though, had nothing negative to say about the Chosen One whatsoever. And when Order 66 was given, many of these Jedi believed that the farthest person that would have turned to the dark side of the Force would have been Anakin, and believed that he was simply too good and too pure to be seduced by the darkness. Not to mention that he was in fact the Chosen One prophesied to destroy the Sith. Unfortunately, though, it was Skywalker, and Skywalker alone, that nearly single-handedly destroyed the Jedi Order personally, as Darth Sidious was the one that orchestrated this great plan, but Anakin Skywalker was the one that put it into motion. Following Anakin Skywalker's defeat, though, at the hands of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar and his crippling, his legend came to an end throughout the stars, at least for those that truly knew what became of him. Some Jedi believed, though, that Anakin Skywalker would arise from the darkness to save them all, and destroy the Sith Lords Darth Sidious and Darth Vader. This Chosen One and Savior, though, though, would never come. On one mission, following his cybernetic reconstruction, Darth Vader, with a group of Imperials, ventured to the prison station known as the Prism. Intrigued, one of the Imperial officers searched the records of the Prism and discovered that nearly half of the inmates had been placed there personally by a Jedi known as Anakin Skywalker, a name that the officer had heard before but did not know the full story of. Again, utterly shocked by this information, he reached out to Lord Vader, asking if the information was accurate, as despite the power of a Jedi, how could someone be responsible for putting away half of all of the inmates in this large station? Seemingly without emotion, Darth Vader responded to the officer, telling him that it was absolutely correct, and that Anakin Skywalker had in fact put away half of all of the inmates in this prison. Even more shocked by this confirmation, the officer asked Vader what had happened to Anakin Skywalker after Order 66, and asked if Anakin Skywalker had managed to evade the Empire, and if he was still under Darth Vader's watch as one of the Jedi that would have survived the Purge. Darth Vader paused for a moment, then answering seemingly again with no emotion, telling the officer that he killed him, and that Lord Vader had conquered yet again over Anakin Skywalker, just as he had all Jedi. The statement, though, although it may appear misleading on Darth Vader's behalf, is actually completely true in Vader's own mind and psyche. The identity of Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker are completely different, with all ties being severed between the two of them when Padme was killed. It's only after his son Luke Skywalker appears that the identity of Anakin Skywalker emerges yet again, as Vader can finally have what he always wanted, a family. In this moment, though, within the prison, Darth Vader does explain that he destroyed Anakin Skywalker. What Darth Vader said was true. He betrayed and murdered all of the Jedi, even Anakin. What's unique about this story is the same thing would later be echoed between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker, as even according to Obi-Wan, Anakin was betrayed by Darth Vader and killed within the Jedi Temple. There were rumors about the fate of Anakin Skywalker following this, though, as many believed that Anakin was the last Jedi standing in the Jedi Temple when Darth Vader stormed it, and that Anakin was only killed when Lord Vader personally approached him within the temple, as no clone trooper could bring down the Chosen One. Again, though, this was simply a rumor created by people that wanted to account for the disappearance of Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One. The rumors continued that it was only after Anakin Skywalker had been shot by several blaster bolts that Darth Vader arrived to destroy the Chosen One, finally, and that Anakin Skywalker died protecting the order that he loved and had sworn his entire life to. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? And apparently, what many people believed happened to Anakin Skywalker after the events of Order 66 and the Great Jedi Purge. What are your thoughts on Darth Vader telling Imperial officers that he did actually kill Anakin Skywalker, despite this not being true? Anyway, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching. Your support on the channel means the world to me. Thank you guys again. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.
I love money, money, love. Money falls to me from sky. I am running for money. Money comes effortlessly. Money's always there for me. I am grateful for money. Money comes when I don't call. Money rounds like basketball. I find creative ways to make money while I eat my cake. Money, it is mine. I eat money with my body. I make money every day. Grateful for money, oh yeah. I'm the master of my wealth. I'm grateful for my money. I'm grateful for family. Making money is easy. I am a big money tree. Money flows from sources known. Money flows from sources unknown. I spend money wisely. Money comes when I go sleep. I attract money as I live. My wealth grows just like your gifts. Everyone gives me money. The universe conspiring to make money. I am wealthy, I am rich, I make money. What is this? Who are you? Are you criminal? I'm money, money loves I. Money flows to me from sky. I am begging for money. Money comes effortlessly. Money's always there for me. I am grateful for money. Money comes when I go cold. Money bounce like basketball. I find creative ways to make money while I eat my cake. Money, money, it is mine. I eat money with my body. I make money every day. Grateful for money, oh yay. I'm the master of my wealth. Money's great just like my health. Money flows to me right now. Money bigger than a cow. I'm grateful for my money. I'm grateful. Oh man, we just hit 1 million subscribers, man. We on YouTube. Shouts out Rami44 for the subscription, man. We just did it, man. We hit 1 million subscribers, man.
Instead, at different points, there were hundreds, if not thousands, of Sith Lords that attempted to claim the galaxy for their own. Most of these Sith were under the direct rulership of one ancient being, and Dark Lord that had been there nearly since the dawn of the Sith Order. This Dark Lord's name was Darth Vitiate. Vitiate was powerful and wise, but could not be everywhere at once, and due to his large absence from his own order, several breakoffs of the Sith were born, as each order claimed they were the true rulers of the Sith Empire, and that Vitiate Vitiate was a false emperor. However, Vitiate's reach was long, and he commanded great armies and powerful Sith lords that were still loyal to his empire. Because of this, Vitiate constructed a Dark Council, a group of Sith under his direct command, whose job it was to govern over certain parts and aspects of his vast empire. One of the members of this Dark Council was named Darth Namla, and she was tasked with keeping all of the Sith Empire loyal to Vitiate, as well as to hunt down and destroy all of the false Sith orders that were emerging from all corners of the galaxy. It was Namla's job to ensure that all Sith knew that Darth Vitiate was the true Sith Emperor. Because of this, Namla constructed a group known as the Sith Hunters, whose job it was to hunt down and kill all rogue Sith Lords and all Sith Lords who were not wholly loyal to Vitiate. These Sith Hunters were handpicked by existing members of the Sith Empire and were highly trained fighters, tasked with taking on 1 or 2 targets at any time, and were specialized in assassinations and smaller scale conflicts rather than large scale engagement. In addition to this, Namla commanded her own special strike team when she ventured into battle, as they were tasked with surrounding her and picking off all the enemies that were left after her vicious and powerful attacks. The other Sith Hunters worked in groups of 4 and would be tasked with eliminating even members of their own Sith Empire. The Sith Hunters worked in teams of 4 as to ensure victory against any opponent, no matter how powerful or skilled in the dark side they were. Because of their number advantage, they rarely lost any engagement. These Sith Hunters were also granted access to otherwise forbidden Sith scrolls on specific Sith targets. Because of this, Namla could pick specific Sith Hunters to hunt Sith that their own skill sets allowed them to most easily defeat in combat. Often, one would not know they had been targeted by Sith Hunters until they revealed themselves, as they were also allowed to move freely within the Sith Empire as low-level Sith warriors until the time was right to execute their target. The Sith Hunters wore large black armor and robes that were specifically designed to repel attacks from lightsabers and even minor-level force abilities such as force pushes or force pulls. However, the higher teachings of the dark side could still be effective on Sith Hunters. Sith Hunters sacrificed mobility for durability, as they often cornered their targets due to their number advantage. The Sith Hunters also specialized in lightsaber combat and were trained for specific missions as to how to best defeat any given target. These Sith specifically learned how to fight the dark side with the dark side, as they almost never were tasked with engaging Jedi, only their own kind. Eventually, however, even the Sith Hunters would turn on their Emperor, as they were in truth only loyal to Namla, and she herself believed she was qualified to be the Emperor, as she grew to despise the true Sith Emperor for his absent nature. This was the mistake that led to the ultimate downfall of the Sith Hunters, as they rose arms against the other members of the Dark Council in hopes of finding and killing Darth Vitiate. As Namla and her Sith Hunters stormed the Dark Council chambers, even they were defeated by the Council members loyal to Vitiate, as their own power eclipsed that of Namla. On this day, the Dark Council would execute every single Sith Hunter in existence. Thousands of years later, the title of Sith Hunters were passed to members of the rebellion against the Empire. These soldiers were tasked with finding and killing Darth Vader, but were ultimately unsuccessful, as although they were prepared, none of them commanded the Force, and were thus defeated by the Dark Lord. But those were the Sith of the ancient Sith Order that were tasked with hunting and killing their own kind for the greater sake of the Empire, at least at the beginning. But those that ironically turned on their Emperor and were ultimately defeated and killed. But what are your thoughts on the story of the Sith Hunters? And had you heard of the Sith Hunters before this video? Thank you guys so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great day. In the Order of Sith Lords, the master of Darth Maul was Darth Sidious, and that Darth Sidious's own master was Lord Plagueis of the Sith. Something that is not as well known, though, is that all 3 of these Sith Lords were alive at around the same point in time, and that Darth Plagueis actually personally allowed Darth Sidious to take an apprentice of his own. on one condition. Before we explain that condition though, let's first explain the order of the Sith Lords and how the Rule of Two is supposed to operate. The major plague of the Sith Lords before the era of the Rule of Two and before the era of Darth Bane was not actually the Jedi or an outside force. What the ancient Sith Lords struggled with the most was infighting among themselves. The Order of Sith Lords wanted power so badly that they would instantly stab one another in the back in order to obtain it. They spent so much time fighting each other that they failed to fight their true enemies. It was for this reason that revolutionary Sith Lords such as Darth Revan proposed that the number of Sith Lords in the galaxy should be far less than it was in ancient times. It wasn't until the era of Darth Bane, though, that Lord Bane decided that there should only ever be 2 Sith at any given time. So why exactly would Darth Plagueis allow his own apprentice to train another Sith Lord in Darth Maul? Wouldn't this technically be breaking the Rule of Two and have another Sith be present? The answer is actually yes and no. Although it's explicitly stated that there should only ever be 2 Sith Lords at once, this does not mean that a Sith Lord cannot train a Darkside apprentice. To be a Darkside acolyte and to be a Sith Lord are 2 completely different things. We've seen Dark Acolytes most notably over the course of the Clone Wars, and Darkside users such as Savage Opress or Asajj Ventress. These Darkside wielders are not in fact true Sith Lords. Darth Plagueis was correct in stating that there should only ever be 2 Sith Lords at one time, the 2 Sith during his reign being himself and his apprentice Sidious. However, Sidious himself had something different in mind. It became one of Darth Sidious's major plans to overthrow his master by training another apprentice in order to do so. That apprentice was meant to be Maul. It was of Darth Plagueis' belief that Darth Maul was simply a Sith assassin and not actually a true Dark Lord. Therefore, Plagueis allowed Darth Sidious to train this apprentice, but never as a true apprentice, and forbade him to share with him any Sith knowledge. That included knowledge of their history and belief of the Force. Darth Maul originally was simply meant to be a tool, someone like Asajj Ventress, someone that always believed themselves to be a Darkside wielder, but were never gifted the true knowledge of the Sith. Over time, though, Maul would progress far faster than Darth Sidious himself even originally intended, revealing to Sidious that Darth Maul was far more powerful within the Force than he had originally believed when taking him from his home world. He discovered that Darth Maul truly had the makings of a Sith Lord, and from this day on, Darth Sidious blatantly went against his master and
I am love. I am healthy. I am happy. I'm abundant. I am ready. I am God. I am love. I am source energy. The universe is me. I'm the galaxy, the stars, and the Milky Way. I am love. I am healthy. All my stocks are in the green. And money comes to me. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. I am loved. in the green star. Penny stars going to the moon. Black silk XJE, blue nerve, green for me. All my stars are in the green. All my stars are in the green. I made $2,000 this week. $2,222 in the green. Jack in the green spots, baby. I am the love. I am the love. I am love. I am the love. I am 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 love. Young Camel Toe just hit 1,000,000 subscribers on YouTube, man. Thanks for subscribing, everybody. I appreciate it.
Maul, the story of the Sith, directly breaking his master's only request when he took Darth Maul as an apprentice. And it was after this story was told that Darth Maul's training went against the Sith assassin. And from that day on, Darth Sidious began grooming Maul for an even greater role. A role that one day would cause him to become a Sith Lord. The difference between a Sith assassin and a Sith acolyte is they are always meant to be tossed aside at the final hour. A Sith apprentice, though, is taught to be with the Dark Master at all times, and eventually to become a Dark Lord of the Sith and the Master themselves. By granting Darth Maul the knowledge that even Darth Sidious was a Sith at a young age was against what Darth Plagueis originally wanted for the Zabrak male. Unfortunately, though, Darth Plagueis would never learn the truth that Darth Sidious had trained Maul as a true Sith Lord. It was actually around the same time that Darth Maul was cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi that Darth Sidious killed his master, Darth Plagueis, and therefore Darth Plagueis never knew the true intention of Lord Maul, and that Darth Maul had truly in fact become a Sith Lord. What's really interesting about this is this was almost turned on its side with Darth Sidious as well. During the Clone Wars, Count Dooku became fully aware that with his own power, he could never hope to overthrow Darth Sidious, as Darth Sidious's natural affinity with the dark side was simply just leagues beyond Dooku. Dooku was also aware that even with the combined strength of Asajj Ventress, he would never be powerful enough to overthrow Darth Sidious. However, with Savage Opress, Count Dooku believed that one day he could in fact overthrow Darth Sidious. Of course, though, if you watch the Clone Wars show, you know that this didn't work out either. It's still interesting to think, though, that Count Dooku tried to do what Darth Sidious did as well. But to definitively answer the question, this is exactly why Darth Maul was allowed to be trained by Darth Sidious, and how Darth Plagueis was deceived by his apprentice. But leave your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and the fact that Darth Plagueis actually okayed the training of Darth Maul, only if he were to be used as a Sith assassin. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day. commissioned by the DNA of Jango Fett. There have only been a select few that have ever rebelled against their programming as a clone, and even fewer that have done so violently and without warning. In the most extreme of circumstances, a clone trooper would desert the Grand Army of the Republic, but it was...
All my stocks are in the green, Disney Boeing. All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. All my stocks are in the green. I am wealthy now. I am healthy now. I'm a finance genius. I earn, save, spend, invest money wisely. All my stocks are in the green. My money makes more money, more money. All of my investments make profit. Every dollar is in the green. I have more money than I need. I have more money than I need. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. My wrist is 3 to 1. My wrist is 3 to 1. I have large amounts of wealth that I give away. I have large amounts of wealth that I give away. I create all the wealth that I need. My manifestations, what I need. I seize my opportunities courageously, applying faith to all my actions. Imagination creates me more wealth through my power of intention. Money going up, no need to mention. I habitually give more than I get, and I get a lot. Free money in my pot, stirring money on the clock. Cheerfully go the extra mile with my money task. Don't even need to ask. Money on my face, money from the sky. I am beautiful, I am very attractive, I am beautiful in mind, body, and spirit. I'm an early riser, I meditate on the daily, I'm feeling great, I'm more powerful than M. Bison. I got a lot of energy, my skin is clear and radiant, I'm always feeling happy, and efficient, energetic, enthusiastic, always handling everything like it's easy peasy. I devote 15 minutes a day to doing daily affirmations. I enjoy eating healthy and nutritious food. I eat all my bananas and vegetables in the nude. Ooh, I have the power to control my health. I love to exercise and feed my body healthy food. I go outside and get my vitamin D on the daily. The sun is my father and my baby. All energies is vibrant within me. My mind, body, and soul is feeling great. My spirit's on the horizon. I eat healthy and I enjoy exercising. Every day is a blessed day. I am so grateful for the love in my life. I'm grateful for the health in my life. I'm grateful for the wealth in my life. I'm grateful for the gratefulness. I'm grateful for the grateful of gratefulness. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am fit, I'm attractive, I am active, I am God, I am sun, I am universe, I'm the mountains, I'm the seas, I'm the oceans, I'm the pyramids, I'm Antarctica, I'm a diamond, I be dancing, I'm a pyramid, I am Prancer, I am Santa Claus, I got a wonderful voice, rejoice, rejoice, love you. I am beautiful. I am very attractive. I'm beautiful in mind, body, and spirit. I'm an early riser. I meditate on the daily. I'm feeling great. I'm more powerful than M. Bison. I got a lot of energy. My skin is clear and radiant. I'm always feeling happy and efficient, energetic, enthusiastic. Always handling every day like it's easy peasy. I devote 15 minutes a day to doing daily affirmations. I enjoy eating healthy and nutritious food. I eat all my bananas and vegetables in the nude. Ooh, I have the power to control my health. I love to exercise and feed my body healthy food. I go outside and get my vitamin D on the daily. The sun is my father and my baby. All energies is vibrant within me. My mind, body, and soul is feeling great. My spirit's on the horizon. I eat healthy and I enjoy exercising. Every day is a blessed day. I am so grateful for the love in my life. I'm grateful for the health of my life. I'm grateful for the wealth of my life. I'm grateful for gratefulness. Grateful for the grateful of gratefulness. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And it's your boy Young Camel Toe live on YouTube, man.
I am fit. I'm attractive.
Was exceptionally rare for one to become violent, and rare for them to want to desert in the first place. Again, though, they typically did not turn on their brothers. There was one clone trooper, though, from an early batch of the clones developed on Kamino that was able to rebel from the programming ingrained in them by the Kaminoan cloners, and was actually able to break his own programming and conditioning. This clone grew to believe that the clone troopers were actually slaves to the Republic and the Jedi Order, and refused to follow the commands of one of the Mandalorian trainers in charge of training the troopers. This clone did not want to follow a life of servitude with no greater purpose. The clone trooper's name was Caddock. Caddock was an exceptionally intelligent and strong clone trooper, but was somewhat unhinged, even from the beginning. Caddock grew a special rivalry with one of his Mandalorian trainers, as he was privileged enough to be trained by a Mandalorian because he belonged to an early batch of troopers. This rivalry went on for some time, as the trainer, as well as the clone, grew to despise one another. The two of them eventually came to blows, and the clone was imprisoned on Kamino. This was exceptionally rare, and because it had grown violent so quickly, instead of killing the clone trooper Caddock outright, the Kaminoans wanted to study him, to understand exactly what had gone wrong. For him to turn so violent so quickly couldn't have been possible, especially due to the behavioral modifications that the Kaminoans had made to the Fett DNA. The Kaminoans desired to study the failed trooper, as they could not determine exactly how or why he had rebelled so intensely. While incarcerated, Caddock exercised furiously and had his self-given name tattooed repeatedly across his body. In an effort to differentiate himself from the other clones who looked like him, Caddock deliberately scarred his face and kept his head shaved bare. When the Kaminoan tests were completed, rumors told that Caddock had been put to death, while other rumors insisted that he had escaped his captors and fled the planet of Kamino. Caddock's insanity grew while confined within his cell on Kamino, and would not see the battlefield as a trooper of the Republic, never making it past basic training. However, the rumors were true, and Caddock did actually manage to escape his cell and the entire planet of Kamino during a separatist invasion. It was later revealed that Caddock had joined with the Separatists and had grown even more insane, refusing to believe that he was just a clone, and believed himself as something more, something meant to be greater. Caddock would survive through all of the Clone Wars conflict, and even the early days of the Galactic Empire, where he would attempt to sway more clones to his side, believing that the clones could take over and create a new society that was better than any before it, a delusion of grandeur. Again, though, it was clear that Caddock had gone completely insane. During one last battle, Caddock was killed by a clone trooper named Hawk, who refused to join him. Hawk instead called the stormtroopers that executed Caddock on sight. But that was the story of the failed clone trooper Caddock, one of the few outright insane and deadly clone troopers that started out seemingly normal. Again, something exceptionally rare. Caddock is one of the few clone troopers that actually had to be detained by the Kaminoans, as he was deemed just that dangerous. But what are your thoughts on the clone trooper Caddock? And had you heard about this trooper before this video? As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching. It's well known that in the Order of Sith Lords, the master of Darth Maul was Darth Sidious, and that Darth Sidious's own master was Lord Plagueis of the Sith. Something that is not as well known, though, is that all three of these Sith Lords were alive at around the same point in time, and that Darth Plagueis actually personally allowed Darth Sidious to take an apprentice of his own, on one condition. Before we explain that condition, though, let's first explain the Order of the Sith Lords, and how the Rule of Two is supposed to operate. The major plague of the Sith Lords before the era of the Rule of Two and before the era of Darth Bane was not actually the Jedi or an outside force. What the ancient Sith Lords struggled with the most was infighting among themselves. The Order of Sith Lords wanted power so badly that they would instantly stab one another in the back in order to obtain it. They spent so much time fighting each other that they failed to fight their true enemies. It was for
Known as the immortal god king of Prakith, Darth Andidu was an ancient human male who reigned as Dark Lord of the Sith, and is thought to be the first to the title Darth. The legend of Darth Andidu and his incredible powers remained at large long after his death, and the Jedi Order even attempted to erase all knowledge and reference of the Dark Lord from galactic records. Despite their best efforts, whispers of Andidu's existence still echoed throughout millennia. A paranoid man, Andidu believed that his subordinate Sith Lords, whom he thought of as his enemies, wanted to claim his vast collection of Sith lore, knowledge, and scripture for themselves, ultimately being overthrown and forced to leave Korriban by his bandit pursuance just prior to his escape. Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Star Wars Theory. Before we begin with this video, I have to ask you guys, do you like how much I upload? I try to upload anywhere between 1 to 3 videos a day, so let me know if it's too much or too little. Also, I hope you'll stay tuned towards the end of the month, as I'll have a very cool video on the Black Edition lightsaber contest that I'll be giving away to one lucky winner. Many of you have requested I unveil myself and show you the man behind the voices.
If you all want that, then thumbs up this video, and perhaps I shall for that one time. Now, on to the video.
We're going to go over and discuss a very interesting topic in the Star Wars universe, and that is, who was Yoda's master? We all know Yoda as the master of all the Jedi. In terms of